Hey you all, how are you all doing today? I hope y'all are having a wonderful day. Hold on, let me turn my gospel down so you all can hear me. In today's video, you all, I wanted to revisit loving yourself because I really didn't make a video on it. I just sort of want to encourage someone because I know a lot of us deal with this and we don't admit it. And so I just wanted to encourage someone with that video. But in this video, I kind of want to touch bases on loving yourself. So I want to start by talking a little bit about my own story, which again will be in my testimony. But again, I want to give you all just a little breakdown of what I dealt with. So in middle school, going through puberty and everything like that, I was confused and I was trying to find myself and I didn't know who I was and different things like that. And so I remember in middle school, I thought I had a lot of friends, you all, and I even want to make a video on this because I've learned a great deal in friendship, a lot of things. And so I just remember thinking I had a lot of friends, and I didn't have a lot of friends. You all had a lot of situationships and a lot of frenemies. And so I just remember women always wanting to fight me, or young women, should I say, always wanted to fight me over boys, you all. A lot of these young women were so many steps ahead of me when it came to things like that. And I wasn't even focused on that. I wasn't worried about these young men as much as they were or anything like that. I wanted my friendships and I valued my so-called friendships. I've always been a sincere, emotional, considerate individual, and it just got worse and I became something different the more I dealt with. And so I just remember always people want to jump on me, but it had nothing to do with anything other than boys. Even when I would go to the Boys and Girls Club in the summertime, older women that like these young men as well would try to jump on me and fight me and want me to meet them in the bathroom at school or at the Boys and Girls Club so they could jump on me, want to jump on me in alleys and, you know, want to jump on me at the Boys and Girls Club. I could be minding my business because I've never been one to be in drama. I've never been one to socialize with different people. As far as it goes, like being in groups where they had a lot of drama and different things like that, I tried to, for the most part, stay to myself because I didn't like those type of things and I didn't want those type of things around me. And I just remember going through all that, you all. And so that's where it started, where I couldn't really find myself and I didn't like who I was, and I became very, my self-esteem got really, really low in that situation. And I didn't like myself. I began to feel as if I was doing something wrong in this situation that caused these things with these young women. And I remember praying to the Lord, like telling him, like, I just want to be ugly. You know, I don't want these type of issues in my life. Like, I'm being bullied for no apparent reason. I've done nothing to anyone. And so going through that, I went through that like until 8th grade. You all, I've been in one fight my whole entire life. And that should say a lot about a person. I don't do that. I don't like drama. I'm not a fighter, you all. But in this situation, the one I'm talking about where I had to fight one time, the young woman would not leave me alone. She just wanted to bully me, and then eventually you can't take it anymore and you have to defend yourself. And so that's what I did. But just to be caught up in drama and different things like that in my life, I'm not one for that. So I chose to stick to myself a lot. And I just remember after going through all that, you all, it just made me even more lost, even more confused. I didn't like myself. I didn't love myself. I just didn't care because I was just like, what is it? You know how you want friends, you know, and you value that, but a lot of people don't value the same things you value. And so I think I put too much trust and just too much into trying to have friends and different things like that in middle school because I wanted people to like me. I mean, I didn't want those type of issues. Honestly, I didn't even like any of the boys that they were trying to fight me over. I would stay away from boys because I didn't want that type of those type of issues and problems within my life. And I held all that in, you all. No one even knew I was struggling or dealing with this. As a child, I just tried to keep less things away from my mom that I felt like would stress her out. Like when you see you have a single parent and they're doing all they can, you kind of want to make things easier on them. So I just never spoke about it. I just never brought it up, but I dealt with it. And even young women that I met in my neighborhood, they wanted to fight me eventually. It was over nothing. And this would be people that I would allow to borrow my clothes, to have my clothes, because they didn't have a lot of things. And like I said, I've always been a considerate, sincere individual. Even though that changed over the years, the more I dealt with, I just became very bitter, angry, and every other thing that you can name that's not good because of the situations that I've dealt with. And I just remember, you all, in middle school as well, I dealt with a lot of hate and envy at a young age because I had someone who I considered to be a stepfather. He did everything for me. He made sure I had everything I needed. Now, I'm going to say this about me because you all don't know me. But one thing about me, even though I fell into the world, I was never a materialistic person. You know that saying where it says, a girl who never asks for anything deserves it all. I still didn't get it all. And that doesn't matter to me, but I've never been a materialistic person. I've never asked anyone for anything because material things don't make me. And so when I had these things in middle school, I was just hated. And I didn't even want this stuff. I didn't want to wear it to school. I just wanted to give it away because I just didn't want those type of problems. I felt like it was causing too many issues within my life. It's not my fault that I was well taken care of. But I never strutted myself in front of people to be better than anyone because I don't feel like that. And to this day, I don't feel like that. I'm not better than nobody. But people put that title on me that I felt like I was better than everyone. And then there was the young women who just didn't understand. They were like, why boys like her? What's about her to like? And you know, this would be young women who don't even know me. And I went through a lot of this, you all. And so again, this didn't stop until like I was getting ready to go into 9th grade. And so that made me struggle with my identity and loving myself, and my self-esteem got really, really low. And it just all kind of things that came after I started getting bullying that wasn't there before. And I just didn't love myself, and I just didn't understand, you all. I just didn't want to be me. I was like, I don't want these issues in my life. So I remember, you all, when I moved to Tennessee, that was in 9th grade. Now, it wasn't until 10th grade that I started to open back up a little bit, because after I went through all that, I had guy friends. Nothing but guy friends, and they were more sincere and more real. And so I just had guy friends, and they still didn't like that, but I didn't care. I had guy friends after that, and I didn't want any female friends. And I did reject a lot of friends that may have been sincere and may have really wanted a friendship with me, but because of everything I went through at a young age, I didn't know how to navigate. Okay, even though the Lord has worked on me, before he began to work on me, I still struggle with navigating and knowing how to have female friends, because I didn't trust females. And everything I've been through, I was just like, all these relationships are probably going to be the same, you know. But in 10th grade, when I met this young woman that I'm speaking of, we became the best of friends, you all. And it was something about her that was different. I just knew in that friendship it was going to be different. It was just something. I could feel it. And so we were friends from 10th grade up until now. And we never had a fight, you all, about anything. No disagreements, no nothing. It was just pure friendship. And so at that point, I began to realize, okay, everybody is not going to be the same when it comes to women. I remember I would feel low towards some women. Like, if I felt like they looked better than me, or I felt like this was like this, I would just feel low. And began to compare myself to other people and different things like that. And so I just remember meeting her, and everything was different. And I was able to embrace the friendship without rejecting her. And so I will say this, because this is going to be in my testimony as well, you all. I lost her in May. And that was my best friend, the only friend that I ever would consider to be a friend in this physical world. And as the Lord was working on me, I just remember when I was isolated with God, this is when I lost my friend. But because of my relationship with God, he got me through it. He's been getting me through it, should I say. And I was able to just thank him for allowing me to meet this young woman in this lifetime, because I never met nobody like her. And meeting her was a breath of fresh air, and it made me realize that every woman is not going to do you the same. You will have a friend and a few people. And I'll say this as well: if you have 1, 2, or 3 good friends, hang on to them, especially if they're genuine and you know they don't want nothing from you, they not around you because of what you got. Hang on to them, because people don't come genuine no more, friends don't come genuine no more, family don't come genuine no more. And the Lord said all of these type of things was going to start happening in the last hour. You got family turning your back on you. You got everybody turning their back on you. And even though I had this friend, I'm going to say this as well: your number one friend is always going to be God, because God will always remain the same and forevermore. People change every single day. We change as humans. God will never change, and He will allow you to talk to Him. There's no judgment there. There's nothing but unconditional love. And it wasn't until I built this relationship with God that I was able to see. The Lord allowed me to evaluate my situation, to see what I was doing wrong, to separate myself from Him. And everything that I had got into that was worldly, it was doing nothing but separate me from Him even more. The makeup, the wigs, the sexy clothes, all these things I was trying to do because I was in my head trying to compete with women that I feel like wanted my guy, or I felt like, you know, they were getting more attention than me. So I was doing stuff that was out of my character, and then I began to create lustful situations that I had no business creating. So it was just a lot, you all, and it just goes to show, like, I never really loved myself. I never truly knew who I was. And a lot of things I went through just in life, in the relationship, all over the border, it did nothing but break me down even more and not know who I was. I became insecure, and I just didn't love myself, you all. I really did not. And I'll say this too, and this goes for any relationship, man or woman. You cannot break people down and try to build them up at the same time. It just does not work like that, you all. And you have to understand as well, if there's a lot of confusion in your situation, a lot of destruction, then that's probably not a relationship ordained by God. Because with God comes peace. We all know this. And so the person that is meant for you will come in peace, and it will be a different feeling. None of this stuff will be going on in your situation. And so we have to realize that as well. Be careful what we're doing when we feel like we are not loved or we don't love ourselves, because a lot of soul ties are created in these situations, ungodly soul ties. And you don't want that, trust me. Being half-dressed, trying to please this man, that man, and looking for men for validation and people for validation, and trying to fill voids through men and women and different things like that. It is not going to work, you all. They cannot do or give you the type of love that God is going to give you. That is a spiritual issue that you have to deal with, because you'll keep hurting people, people will keep hurting you. It'll just be a cycle going on, and then you're wondering why you can't keep a relationship, why you can't keep a man, why you can't do this, why you can't do that, why your situation is not working. Well, technically, we have to go get filled up by God first. We cannot look to humans to fill us up. It does not work like that. And even I had to learn that, because I was looking at my children's father as my protector and everything more. And we serve a jealous God. And when you begin to do that, oh yes, the Lord will step in and convict you. And so you don't want to put things and people before Him. You don't want to idolize people. You don't want to idolize and worship things that are not